Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Guangzhou. It's closing in 4 o'clock local time, and we're in Group N of the classification round here at the FIBA Basketball World Cup. And we have a very big game for these two teams as they go in search of the Olympic Games qualification spot that is on offer to one of the African teams here. It's Nigeria against Cote d'Ivoire. And, well, Nigeria come in to this classification stage as the leading African team thanks to their massive victory in the previous round over Korea. In fact, at 42 points, it was the biggest victory ever by an African team at the World Cup. So Cote d'Ivoire know what's facing them here. They have really to win this game, and again, in 2 days from now to have a chance. Hope the basket difference is enough. Daniel Routledge and Coach Joe Rasso here. Give me the call. Coach, Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire know exactly what they have to do here. They've got to come in and win this game, preferably by a few points as well.
Group M is all about point differential and wins. And these two teams have played each other for so many years. These guys have grown up where they've seen competition at a young age all the way through. So it's going to be challenging because they know each other, but the stage is huge and the results are even bigger.
And for Nigeria, well, they are, as I say, in the box seat. They, Tunisia and Angola of the African teams all brought one win through from this other stage, but they are 50 points better off than Tunisia, and they are close to 100 points better off than Angola. So 2 wins will almost certainly book them that Olympic game spot. And of course, for the rest of the teams who don't get the direct qualification, there is still some spots going in the qualifying tournaments for Tokyo 2020. So finishing as high up in the rankings as you can here in China gives you that opportunity. We'll talk through some of the permutations as we go through the game here today, and probably more pertinently on Sunday, when it will in all likelihood be finally decided as to who goes where and what. This is the schedule in Group M for today, and you can see China coming up later against Korea. They didn't want to be here, but unfortunately they didn't qualify through, but they do have the best record of the Asian teams in this stage, so they'll be looking for an Olympic qualification spot as well. And we will rise for the national anthems of the two sides, starting with Cote d'Ivoire. And now for the national anthem of Nigeria. it's a very important game between two teams who know each other very well. They've played each other a lot of times across African basketball competitions, and they know what's at stake here. Côte d'Ivoire, well, it'll be a big ask just to get in the qualifying tournaments. If they can't win this game, their chances of a direct ticket relies on winning this encounter, and the two teams meet at half court to exchange momentums and handshakes and all the pleasantries. And our three officials for today: from Greece, Georgios Poutsanides; from Mexico, Joaquin Dominguez Viveras; and from Switzerland, Marcos Michaelides. And as was the case in the Group C section of this tournament, Andreas Papadopoulos of Greece is our commissioner. And well, a lot of pressure on these two teams, but probably a little more so on Côte d'Ivoire, given their margin of error is so thin here.
Yeah, we know their margin of error, what situation. They've got to win 2 games. They need 2 games to have any chance. But it's a situation, too, where you're playing for pride. You're playing for your continent. This is your foe. And this starting lineup here has been led by Charles Abou. The back end of it, Dion Thompson, has been sensational. And they've got experience up front with Diabate, Zerbo, and Eddie. Now, Abou has been leading them in minutes played as the tournament has gone on. He's been very, very good. And he's been scoring from the floor, over 50% from the 2s, 50% from the 3s. He has done a great job, leads them in scoring at 16 points. He's going to be a force here tonight, and they won't take him off the court unless they have to.
Well, it's only the second time there's been a FIBA Basketball World Cup game between two African teams, not since 1990 when Angola beat Egypt in that one. Have two African teams gone head-to-head, and this is the starting 5 for Nigeria.
And it's got lots of depth and experience on there, and people who've played at high stages. Uzo, Diago, Amino, NBA player, Ekpe Udo, who's played in the NBA. But Joshua Okogie is their young superstar. He has been sensational for them, leads them in assists, steals, and points per game. He has taken on that responsibility and has stepped up on the biggest stage and done a great job.
So the crowd still coming in here in Guangzhou, ready for this ball game. As it stands, Nigeria top this Group M. Remember, all results from the first group stage come through to today, and they will play. These are the groups from Group A and Group B. Côte d'Ivoire were in Beijing with China, and they played Poland and Venezuela, who went through to the second stage. Nigeria were in Wuhan with Korea, Russia, and Argentina, and they've come here for this second group. They will play the teams that they hadn't played so far, so 2 more games to play to try and get themselves a spot in the Olympic Games.
Both coaches from foreign countries here, Paulo Povia from Italy and Alex Nawara from the United States. A neighbor in Buffalo at Erie Community College for me.
Two teams making their way out onto court, and I'm sure as they do so, Nigeria will be feeling pretty pumped about themselves, coming in off the back of that 40-point win over Korea 2 days ago, having lost to Argentina and Russia in the first 2 games. Côte d'Ivoire lost all 3 against Poland, Venezuela, and China.
If you like big men, this jump's going to have 2 big ones, Ndiagu and Zerbo.
Zerbo a little keen to get the tip there. The referee hadn't even thrown it. And he's got to get it up high. And it is Nigeria, who will get the first offense with Uzo. Okogie. Amino thought about the three, puts it on the floor instead, looking for some options. He will take the three this time, and an easy defensive rebound for Zerbo.
Yeah, Nigeria looking to run an elevator action to get Mino some early looks in the game.
Thompson bouncing it in down low to Zerbo, trying to use his size. Great block from Udo.
Great block from Udo, and because of his athleticism, he can wait till the player leaves the ground and then come back and react to it.
Amino has some space, puts it on the floor, and that's going to be a blocking foul. I think he was just going slightly laterally here. Although you've got to be careful, that forearm, the referee could have seen that. Here's the block at the other end. As you say, Udo, it's all about the timing.
It's all about the timing, and when you're a quick jumper, you can react and then go up and still get it.
Enough for Amino to inbound. Gets it into Udo. Kogi, nice little step under for two.
Yeah, Kogie's real tough in that he can get middle and create for others, or he can just take middle himself and shoot the shot.
Little dump off pass, and Zerbo underneath is good for two.
And that all starts with Abu being able to get middle, and he will look to get middle to pass off, but he'll also set himself up for scoring. He is a scoring point guard.
Zerbo called for the foul.
You're going to find as this game goes on, both teams are going to fight back and forth to stop each other in transition. So defensive transition will be a key factor for both teams.
Kogi off into the corner. Didn't quite catch that in rhythm, so I think the original plan was to shoot it, but he recycles out. Uzo underneath, off the glass.
Uzo, who's a great slasher as a point guard, good distributor, but real good going to the basket. Well done.
Diabate. Zerbo posting up in the lane. He needs to get out of there before he gets called for time. Thompson, top of the key.
Good read by Thompson. That one step got him into rhythm at the free throw line extended.
Chigo onto Udo. Amino along the baseline, spins back to the middle. Under all sorts of pressure, is able to get that to drop.
Yeah, good basket. And Eddie did a nice job on defense there, planned for that dribble.
Diabate around to Zerbo. Knocked away. Nigeria come up with it. Amino in transition. Pulls up at the elbow, and he's all string with that.
Yeah, very confident. He took his first two shots. He was confident. They're definitely trying to play through him. And there he took a shot in transition, even though he didn't have the numbers.
Boo. Has the switch, so trying to use his speed, gets to the basket and finishes off the glass.
Yeah, tough finish. It tells you how strong he is because he had a bigger man on him and he still was able to take him inside and then create space at the very end.
Amino kicks it out. Three is nothing but net. Beautiful shot from Diago.
Diago is a skilled big man. This is what Ivory Coast doesn't want to see, is a big guy who can step out and pop and knock it down.
Abu trying to reply with three of his own. Amino just got his hands to that. Looked like the long rebound might go for an offensive one. He's wide open in the corner for three. And back-to-back triples have Nigeria up 8.
Yeah, Amino has come in here with a plan that we're winning this game. He's saying to his teammates, I'll carry you.
Diabate under pressure. Gets it to Thompson. Diabate once more, trying to get it to Thompson. He's able to reclaim, but there's only 4 on the shot clock. Diabate's got to get this off. Got it off just in time, I think. Abu with the offensive rebound, and he's able to turn what was a scrappy play into 2 points.
Defense doesn't end till you get the rebound. Can't play for the shot clock after Nigeria did an absolutely great job of handling ball screens.
The Argos hit one from the other side, but not here from this near side. And good transition as Thompson laying it in.
Great job, Nigeria on both ends, not running with 5.
Udo. Kogi in the corner, overcooked that one. Didn't hit the ring, so there's no reset on the shot clock. He's got to go quicker. Bench is shouting at him to shoot it. He's under pressure, Udo. He does get it off in time. He almost banked it in. Udo with the... Oh, he should have had the offensive rebound, but it just slipped out of his grasp. Diabate pulls up from 17 feet.
Nigeria's got to make sure that they've got better communication on the floor. They had a shot clock violation over here, an easy rebound on a miss, and nothing on that last offensive possession.
Udo to the hook is good.
You got to love Nigeria's personnel, but the problem right now, everything is one and done. There's not much movement on the perimeter, so if they don't make the shot, they don't have a second chance.
Boo. Zerbo zipping it cross court. Eddie driving the lane for 2.
The power of the skip pass. Anytime you can skip the ball, you're going to create a closeout and therefore create penetration.
Udo sort of tossed that one in.
He's got that nice big jump hook. He's real comfortable with it. And I'm saying that Nigeria's worried about one and done. They're just making their ones.
Here's Thompson. Boo passes up the shot, moves the ball on. Diogo with the rebound. Uzo penetrates off the glass. That's a difficult finish. It just rims out for him. Diabate to Thompson. He's short on that one. Again, offensive rebound. Abu got up in the air, didn't know what to do with it.
Looked like he was close enough to shoot it. But both these teams seem to like that pace, move up the court.
Well, you'd be a little worried for Côte d'Ivoire, given the amount of points that Nigeria have already got on the board here. 18 points in less than 7 minutes. This is a team that put 100 and some on Korea 2 days ago.
And Côte d'Ivoire has only played 10 players this entire tournament.
Udo short on that one. Zerbo with the rebound. Apu has nobody really with him. Thompson now in the post. Diabate feeding it to him. And it's knocked away. Fouls on the floor, so it'll be a sideline possession. And I think Nigeria are 5-on-5 off here, are they?
Well, they've got that depth where they can do it. But the one thing that I look about Nigeria's offense, even though it was efficient with 18 points up till now, it's still a lot of isolation basketball. And I don't know if that's sustainable throughout the tournament. You're going to have to move the basketball and run some stuff so that you can get other people involved rather than just the ball handler.
A totally different lineup now for Nigeria. Eddie to Thompson. Thompson driving in, a little step back off the glass. Just got caught on the arm by Eric, so it'll be 2 free throws.
And so you look at this Nigerian team, they bring 5 fresh bodies on the floor, but they still bring in size, athleticism, shooting. Coach Noir's got lots of confidence in this, and he's only playing with 11 today because his son, Jordan Noir, seems to be out with injury.
Thompson makes the front end of the 2 free throws, looking to cut it to a 4-point game here with 2.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter in Guangzhou. Koi to inbound. Little show of full court pressure dealt with easy. Nandi fires up for 3, bats it away, and well, Eric saves it. He could have probably left it, but it's going to be a Nigeria possession anyway.
Yeah, 1-2-1-1 zone pressure, just soft pressure, token pressure, but Nigeria just ran right through it and looked for the very first shot they had.
Robo. Eric putting it on the floor. Koye fires up the triple, knocks it down, and the lead's back to 7.
Great young shooter, been shooting the ball this tournament very well. It's tough. It's tough when you bring 5 on, 5 off because you're worried about flow and rhythm.
Foul called off the ball on the far side. Certainly had some rhythm on that jump shot. Diabate pulls up at the elbow. Offensive rebound from Eddie. Fun! Oh my goodness! Michael Eric with a big pin. Amadi hits the 3 at the other end. Defense to offense. It's a 10-point lead.
And you talk about runs starting on defense. This group's done a great job. The fact that they've got centers back there that can block shots after they've gone up gives us a huge advantage to Nigeria.
Diabate. Diabate, nice little change of pace, but he's blocked. Once again, Eric there to deny.
Those are as good as steals for Eric. Change possession real quick. But not only does that do that, but the fact that he comes in late, now he's a threat. Cote d'Ivoire's got to be worried every time he's on the floor or their bigs are on the floor because now you're worried about where he's coming from. The seed's been planted.
There's another look at that 3-point shot, which has helped Nigeria to a 10-point lead. Robo moves it on. Not this time from Madi.
Looked like the same play they tried to start the game with the double screen, trying to get a shooter off.
Driving through out to Kone, and he strokes it with his first touch of the ball.
Yeah, Fofana made it real tough attack to the basket there. Then at the very end was fortunate enough to find Kone.
Robo driving through, and Pamba's going to be called for the foul.
Number 6, holding foul.
Nigeria here looking to finish the quarter quickly with 37 seconds, probably looking for a quick score, 2-for-1 situation.
Clay putting on the floor. Down to Eric. Oh, knocked away and stolen away in the end by Kone.
Kone pulled the chair a little bit there on him.
Kone throwing it inside to Eddie, and he's a little frustrated with himself because he drew the foul and he felt he probably should have been going to the line for 1 instead of 2 here.
And I think Cote d'Ivoire is trying to rush it a little bit. They didn't respect the shot clock. They're going to give Nigeria another opportunity a little later in the shot clock because to start the second quarter, they're going to get the basketball. So a good finish at this quarter leads to a good start for the second quarter. It's such an emotional game that you've got to keep thinking. You've got to work hard, and the emotion's got to be a huge part of it, but you've got to stay grounded to your game plan.
Landry Eddie, 5 of 8 from the free throw line in this tournament so far. And he makes both of those. 16.6, there's just a little something on the court that the referee spotted. So he's just going to pick it up. Get rid, and we'll get back underway. Namdi pulls up again. He's not shy. Tipped away, 6 here. Still, Pamba, can he chase it into the corner? He can. He's slightly off balance. Front rim's that. Offensive rebound, still a chance. Thompson. And it doesn't go. And it got off to a really explosive start this game. Nigeria led by as many as 10, but at the end of 1 here in Guangzhou, It is down to only 6 in this first game of the classification round. Group M is Nigeria 24, Cote d'Ivoire 18.
Tempo is so important in this game, but I think in that last 34 seconds, both teams were a little reckless. Early shots allowing the other team to get early chance opportunities there. And here's Nigeria having the ball with 16 seconds, got an opportunity to get the ball in the front court and rush it and then give Cote d'Ivoire an opportunity to come back. Very fortunate that they didn't score on that, but this type of game, emotions play a big part, and that reckless isn't by design, it just happens because you're in the field of the game.
Well, Cote d'Ivoire, as you saw from the statistics, they're struggling a little bit shooting, just 7 of 19 from the floor. They've missed all 5 3-point attempts. They have managed to get a few offensive rebounds to give them second chance opportunities, but you feel that the offense has come a little easier for Nigeria than it has for Cote d'Ivoire so far.
And it's been prettier. The Nigeria's made some shots. They've got guys isolating, finishing and stuff. But ugly's okay. And Cote d'Ivoire's doing a great job of attacking the basket. They scored the first transition basket, which is really important to their play. And their shots will go. They're only down 6 in a quarter where they may have been dominated on the offensive end.
Teams back out on court. Don't forget, you can keep up with all the action with the official FIBA Basketball World Cup. Live games, stats, highlights, everything you could need. Download for free from your local provider. And Kone is the provider of 2 points there.
And Kone was vet against vet. He knew he's got a shot blocker on him. He got real tight, and the only way you want to defend a shot blocker, attack a shot blocker, is to get in his body.
And there he is with the steal, but he's thrown it straight away to Eric, and there's going to be a foul in there as well.
Could have been a great start for the quarter for Cote d'Ivoire. Kone on one end and Kone on the other.
And that's going to be a foul on Bamba.
Get back to what I said earlier about Nigeria on offense. It's like one player has the ball and other 4 players are watching rather than working to get other people open, making it tougher for Cote d'Ivoire to guard them.
Gets it back, puts it on the floor, driving, throws it up very high, it hits the bottom of the net.
His minutes have been increasing too as this tournament goes on. He's been very consistent.
Fofana throws it down to Kone off 1 foot. Doesn't quite have enough to get it over the ring, but he gets his own offensive rebound. And once again, a turnover for him, but it's stolen back by Fofana. Thompson. That's not a bad foul, that, on the floor when it was 2-on-1, and he was shorter than both of them.
Nigeria paying the price here for some mental mistakes, leaving down, taking off down the court before they've got secured the rebound. 2-on-1 situation, and then getting caught with the dribbler with the defenders only at center court.
Zana now into the game as Bamba drives it and gets that thrown out. Once again, Eric with another block, his 3rd of the game. Bamba. Shot clock down to 3. Kone needs to get this one off. He does. But it was an awkward shot under pressure from defense and shot clock.
Yeah, a nice dig down by Nigeria. So Kone at the end couldn't even turn around baseline because the help was there.
He just lost it behind his back.
We've got some sloppy possessions here by Nigeria.
Bamba. Kone stumbling. He might get an assist for that. Hardy with the rebound. Zana to the mid-range, in and out. Eric with the offensive rebound. Good second chance opportunity there.
Yes, and good ball movement. Both teams have been slowing the ball down once they get to a player. There they've got a full reversal, and that full reversal caused the defense to come over and allowed for an offensive rebound because people are out of position.
Kone up out behind the three-point line, moves it on to Pamba. Back to Kone. Lobbing it inside, Thompson. Good finish.
Good finish. Good fake by Kone. A nice high-low situation where all the work by Thompson was being done as the ball was reversed to the top of the key.
8 points for him now. Kone trying to come up with another steal. Can only deflect it out of bounds. And we've got substitutions both ways.
Kone has been a spark this second quarter on both ends of the floor.
Underneath, it was like no help game at all, and he just had an easy layup.
Absolutely, and the reason the help didn't come is because the help started peeling off, looking for the shooters.
Jay inside to Kone, he's got good position, and he makes Udo pay for letting him get it.
Back-to-back high-low, and now the passer became the sealer. The only way you can stop that high-low action from happening is don't let the ball get to the high post.
Fofana with the rebound. Kone. Step back from Bamba. Cuts it to a 4-point game.
And again, it started with Kone. He realized the match. He realized that they had a good match inside, so he pulled himself outside to become the passer on that.
And they looked a bit more fluent in offense, Cote d'Ivoire, here in this second quarter. Ball's out of bounds, and it will be a Cote d'Ivoire possession.
I know Coach Noir would love to see more ball movement. It's easier on defense just to guard when the ball isn't moving. We can build our defense. But in this case here, the steal, the fact that there was no movement, no spacing, made the steal a lot easier because there was no place for the ball to go.
Bamba goes round the three-point line. Now inside to Zerbo, backing down Udo. Double team comes. He's forced to kick it back out. Long range effort is good for three from Bamba.
And that's great for Cote d'Ivoire. They need to knock that down because Nigeria was packing in the defense.
Oh, super block. Koji going to the basket, but that was thrown out by Fofana.
We've seen a pile of rundown blocks here in Guangzhou.
Well, we've seen 5 blocks already in the game here, although 4 of them are at the other end. Offensive foul, the call there. To leave Zana, the offender.
He may have an argument.
Well, it was on the spin that the foul was called. It was Fofana. Now he has it in the low block, Fofana. Defender hits the deck. Play goes on. Roabu trying to throw the alley-oop, and that was smashed back down.
Great defense there by Pamba. He cheated. He didn't know you didn't know if he was going to drive or not. So Pamba came over and knew the alley-oop was coming.
Spiked it down like a volleyball player. Koji. Harobi in and out. Bamba with the rebound. Zerbo. Back to Pamba. Way off the mark.
And it looks like Nigeria is playing a matchup zone or just playing a real soft man.
Good work on the glass from Udo to keep it alive. Okogie has space and time. And the offense has really slowed down in the last 10 minutes. First 5 minutes, they were blistering up and down the court.
And they were making those open shots in the first 5 minutes. But that's offense.
Pamba, the back of the iron. Rothwell had the ball in his hands. Foul scored off the ball on Pamba, holding on to Zana, and there's going to be a substitution both ways here.
Roby did a real good job out there, but the pounding of the ball without pushing it up gives the defense a chance to get back there.
So to inbound. Kogi through his hands and away in transition in the blink of an eye. Bamba is there, takes the contact from behind, and Côte d'Ivoire in the lead.
Bamba's added some excitement to this team. He's done the job in transition, and Côte d'Ivoire has scored more transition baskets than Nigeria, and therefore scoring easier.
Well, Côte d'Ivoire, who were down by as many as 10, take their first lead of the game here with 3:29 to go in the first half. And I think from a Nigeria perspective, the issue has been they've been unable to maintain that fast start that they had to the game.
Yeah, and the flow. It's all about creating flow. And if you're going to walk it up with the great athletes that Nigeria has and not move the basketball, then you're not playing to your strengths. What's happening right now, Côte d'Ivoire is doing a good job of playing off of their defense, but on offense, making good reads and trying to get the advantage. I love the fact that they're matching up, playing through players who have the advantage. This kick out for the three was huge because now Nigeria had been packing it in, and now Nigeria's got to come out because Côte d'Ivoire has some confidence. There's another transition basket. Those are easy scores, and at the end of the game, you look for easy scores. It's not about your field goal percentage, but it's always about offense. It's easier to score on a full attack where it's 1 against 0.
Well, Nigeria had 14 points on the board, 3.5 minutes into the ball game. In the last 10 minutes, they've only scored 16.
And some teams aren't great playing with the lead. They play to the score sometimes. And it's a downfall some teams have. I'm not saying that's Nigeria's situation, but in that case, it looked something like that they just played with a little bit more intensity early in the game.
Kogi trying to bounce it down very low. Here's Uzo under pressure. Used his body well to finish at the glass.
Yeah, and it's nice to see somebody from Nigeria coming off the perimeter and getting involved.
Zerbo. Diabate, a little stutter to the hole. Lovely little play from Suleiman Diabate.
Diabate's got game. He'll shoot it, he'll attack. He might be the best one-on-one player here for Côte d'Ivoire.
Udo's shot rims out. Fofana now in transition, goes up. 2 defenders there. And because they both challenged the shot, it was easy for Thompson on the offensive glass.
And the fact that they ran down the floor with 2, Nigeria had to decide, take the man in the middle, and all of a sudden now that cross-court pass is wide open. So here you got Nigeria working real hard, running a set, putting it in, having to score a real tough basket, and then bang, Cote d'Ivoire comes right back, scores easy in transition.
Kogi to inbound. Arahobo. Mino in the corner puts it on the floor. He's got all day there, Arahobo, and he makes them pay with the triple. And we're tied at 35.
Good solid offense, good spacing that time. Good one more pass, good drive, find the player wide open. That's solid offense by Nigeria.
Thompson.
It's always amazing how your defensive intensity picks up after you've scored a big basket.
Diabate with the quick elevation. Kogi with the rebound. Diogo's going to pull up in transition, and that one looked good. It was right behind that. Certainly had the line, but not quite in, just maybe a little too much legs.
And when you push the ball, in that case, and Nigeria did push the basketball, Amino he was running the floor, a better chance at an offensive rebound because the spacing on the floor was better.
35 points apiece in this All-African matchup in the FIBA Basketball World Cup in China. A lot riding on it as well. There's, of course, a direct spot for one of the African teams here into the Olympic Games. The others will be trying to get into those qualifying tournament spots. Nigeria coming into this classification round in the best position of the African teams. There we go, good pass. Lovely little pass from Udo. Here we go with the lay-in, and Nigeria have the lead once more.
Two real good passes in a small space there. Okogie with the drive and a nice dish off. So the hockey assist to Okogie, nice look-off pass by Udo.
1:08 to go in this first half of the opening game of Group M in the classification stages. Of course, all of the teams in A, B, C, and D had a travel day yesterday as they moved cities from the first round. And it's second round day for some of them, classification day for others. In the second round, Russia lead Poland by 28 points to 20, and they've just tipped off in Group J. Serbia have the first score against Puerto Rico, who were here in Guangzhou. But in the other classifying game, one that will be of interest to these two teams, Angola currently leading Iran midway through the second quarter by 22 points to 19, and Angola, one of the three African teams to bring a win into this classification stage.
Look for Cote d'Ivoire to try to get Abu open. It's been a big part of this tournament. Hasn't had a good look yet tonight.
Zuber down on the low block. Backing down, trying to use his size and his strength, but his hook doesn't have the radar there. Amino in transition. Udo sort of stumbling through the lane, managed to get the pass away. That's going to be a foul on Amino as he pulled Bamba on the floor.
It looked like it, but again, another open shot for Nigeria.
First foul of the ball game on him. 40 seconds to play in a tight first half. Cote d'Ivoire looking to try and tie things up before we head into the locker rooms. Diabate. Thompson offers the screen. Hooked over to Thompson. Round it goes. Abu around the big screen, trying to find some space. Gets his own shot off. Kogi boxing out well to get the rebound. Shot clock is off. So Nigeria will take a little time to run this down to half.
That was great rebound for somebody who was undersized in that situation. Good job on his body.
Kogi for 3 from Rems. Diabate's not even going to try and shoot. He's actually probably should have put the ball down there. He nearly traveled with it. And that'll do it. Nigeria coming out to a hot start, but Cote d'Ivoire fighting back, and this battle of these two African giants very much in the balance. At the half, it's Nigeria 37, Cote d'Ivoire 35.
Here we look at the field goal percentage here. Nigeria's winning the field goal percentage, winning the 2-point percentage battle, and have made more threes. But Cote d'Ivoire feels like they've stolen the emotion. The turnover situation is the big thing for Nigeria. Some of them have been unforced errors and sloppy turnovers, and they've responded. Cote d'Ivoire responded by scoring layups at the other end. So we've got Thompson leading Cote d'Ivoire, a Mr. Everything for them, most of his baskets inside, and Amino 7 points, but most of them came early in the game.
Well, they did get off to a quick start, Nigeria, led by as many as 10, but then reeled right back in. And this one, still plenty to do in the second half for both teams. Nigeria lead Cote d'Ivoire by 2. We're going to take a little pause. Joe and I will be back with you in about 12 minutes' time.
When you educate a woman, you educate a nation. It's a quote from Nelson Mandela, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the halftime. We are going to present you the FIBAWC show. 好了，各位，让我们加油，一起还在接下来2分钟时间里面，让我们放松心情，来点不一样的精彩吧！来自东风起神、最萌、最嗨、最活力的伙伴们登场，他们呢将会以最纯粹、最积极的活力，引领我们感受秩序，释放激情。给点掌声，他们好吗？ 好的，现在呢，请大家呢是关注我们的大屏幕上面是有2维码，让我们呢是拿着手机扫描屏幕上的2维码即可进入到启辰奖词进行抽奖，精美大奖呢是等你来拿。 好 ，Basketball fans， 再次呢把热烈的掌声送给我们的启辰伙伴。品质生活，驱动由我，东风启辰将继续给人们带来活力、新鲜、科技、品味的生活，以及无限动力、无限遐想，以及对更高品质生活的追求。东风启辰，人情到底，感谢大家的积极参与 ，Thank you， FIBAWC。
Baker with another dunk. Pass. Great pass. Pass towards Tice. Didn't come off. Turned back over. And then back to Germany again. Zipser to Tice. Throwing one high. Oh my word. How about the finish from Maxi Labour. Finally, some German joy in the World Cup.
Oh! Ruri Hachimura! He just ripped through the ozone layer and pounded it home on Miles Turner.
Here comes Greece. Kalathis gets it.
Are you kidding me? Jaylen Brown on the runway. Oh! How about Jaylen Brown packing it?
My parents gave me away, so I had no purpose in this life. Yeah. When you educate a woman, you educate a nation. It's a quote from Nelson Mandela, by the way.
Welcome back to Guangzhou, where Nigeria lead Cote d'Ivoire 37-35 in this Group M matchup in the classification round. Remember, the leading African team in this tournament will get an automatic qualification to next summer's Olympics in Tokyo. And at the minute, coming into this round, Nigeria was ahead on points, and 2 wins will almost certainly guarantee them that spot. So Cote d'Ivoire know what they have to do in the second half, and Coach Joe Rasso sat alongside me here. What do you think the 2 coaches would have been saying to their teams at halftime?
Well, I think in Nigeria's case, they're going to talk about playing with some urgency and not settling. The one stat that jumps at you when you look at stats is the fact that Nigeria hasn't got to the free throw line. That usually says that you haven't attacked the basket enough and that you've settled too much on your offensive takes. On the other hand, Cote d'Ivoire is doing a pretty good job of stealing the emotion and sucking that energy out of them, even though they're behind 2. And they had great success off their bench. Kone with 6 points and Pamba with 7 points in 7 minutes. Those 2 players energized them when they were down 10. They came off the bench. So even though Nigeria has the lead here, when they went to the locker room, Cote d'Ivoire was feeling better about themselves.
Nigeria with the possession arrow, they'll get us underway here in the second half. Amino comes back to the ball, having inbounded. There's Amino again, and that's just way too deep for Udo to get. That's poor defense, easy slam dunk.
And a great offensive set to start it, because you thought the ball was going to get reversed, and they came back to the strong side and played the defense for overreacting.
Abu, Kone, around the three-point line it goes to Diabate, moves it on with one more pass. That's off the front of the rim from Eddie. Kogi driving in, drops it off to Odu. Still had some work to do, and he's got the first 2 scores of this second half.
Good start there. Joshua Kogi, who hasn't shot the ball real well, they went under that screen, and he still was able to create a good pass off.
Diabate trying to thread the needle there, but Nigeria's defense wise to it to deflect it out of bounds. Abu, Diabate. Thompson now from the three-point line. Gets Cote d'Ivoire on the board here in the third quarter.
And that was a great little series there. That high ball screen, because Nigeria showed a little bit, it was just enough time to get the ball back on target for Thompson for a 3.
Udo this time at the top of the key. Diogo is kind of trapped there, is able to get it out. Kogi putting it on the floor, drops it off to Udo. 1 second on the shot clock. He's got 6 in a hurry here in the third.
Yeah, good play there by the big man to kick it out and not get called with a turnover.
Kearney Landry under some pressure there. Foul called. I think Uzo's reaction tells you all you need to know about his view of that.
I can tell you one thing Nigeria is doing on defense is they're making sure they know where Abu is all the time. The fact that he hasn't knocked down a three is because they're doing a heck of a job of trying to keep the ball out of his hand.
Diabate. Nice split through the two defenders, but not able to finish there. Uzo inside to Aminu. Looking for some help, finds it from Diogo. Under pressure, and Kone's going to get whistled for the foul there.
Good attack and pretty good defense by Kone. Just got caught with the foul there. Did a nice job of not fouling on the drive, but did on the sweep there, trying to get the block shot. I've got the sense Nigeria is playing with that urgency I had mentioned earlier, and they're playing with a little bit of motion. You could tell that defensive stop in that last play there, how much Udo got upset just by by fouling there. They didn't show any of that in the first half.
Thompson, sorry.
You notice the defense there. Offense called the play, head tap. Defense called the head tap, and they're looking for assistant coaches to help out what the action of the play is going to be.
Kone backing down, got very close to the basket. Amino trying to bounce it to Uzo. Can he keep it in bounds? No, he can't. It'll be a turnover.
Risk and reward pass. Good stop on one end. You come back down there, and you've got a turnover because you tried a real difficult pass, a bounce pass to somebody running in through traffic. Those are the turnovers Nigeria doesn't need.
Nice. Ooh, tried to throw it down, Diabate, having shown the handles. Aminu in the corner.
Diabate has been a spark plug for this team the entire tournament.
Kone off the mark for three. Uzo right down the lane. The defense didn't recover at all. He saw that from mid-court and just went all the way to the hole.
And one of the reasons it didn't recover is because Udo got down the floor so quickly that he screened the big man defender and made it difficult for him to react. You don't get an assist for a screen, but the coaches recognize it and everybody else watching the game recognizes it too.
There's actually a little hand in there from Udo to deflect that attempted dunk. 6:40 to go here in the third. Nigeria are up 8.
A good timeout here. You're trying to, you can sense that there's a flow coming, and he's just looking at this timeout to stem the tide, get his guys, regroup his guys, a little bit better on defense. That's the first transition basket they've given up for a layup. First play of the game, nice seal inside. The work was done early, easy two. Nigeria didn't score a lot of easy baskets come that first half, but the start of the second half, they're doing a much better job of that.
And he's been a key factor in that. Udo, 10 points, most of it coming in this quarter.
Well, former Europe Cup champion at Fenerbahce, he's got the experience to help these guys make sure they can qualify.
And not got the experience to get away with a push in the low post that blatant in front of the officials.
But CôtedIvoire is doing something where they found that they have an opportunity to attack is all high-low. In that case, they ran a set, and it still was a high-low, even though it was a guard to a post, because they allowed their post player to set himself up.
Oh, that's not a great inbound. Aminu with the steal. Amino one-on-one, taking it to the hole, through the contact. He'll go to the line for a bonus.
And you're absolutely right. He went through the contact. He drew the contact, he accepted it, and he finished. Yeah, great concentration by Amino. Strong, powerful attack to the basket.
And just as they did in the first half, a great start to the second half by Nigeria has seen them open their biggest lead of the game at 11 and a chance to stretch it yet further with another turnover.
Now what they did in the first half is they made that 5-man substitution at this point of the first half, and they're not going back to that here. They're just going back to a singular regular substitution and replacing specific players. And this will have a less of effect on the flow and on the tempo right now for Nigeria.
Number 6, out.
Nice, and once again, Amino is inside there, close to the basket, and Nigeria have blown this out to a 13-point lead. Oh, what have Cote d'Ivoire got in response here? Bamba up in the air, bails out of the shot, passes it off, and they get the triple instead from Thompson.
Yeah, good job by Pamba there to start that.
Uzo attacks the basket, tries to feed it inside. They've got numbers here, Cote d'Ivoire. Pamba pushes it forward to Diabate. Abu in the corner, back to Diabate. On the trail is Kone. And they've recovered fairly well there, Nigeria. They looked in trouble. There's a foul off the ball. I think that basket will count. Referees will just have a look. Yes, it will. The basket is good. And the foul is on Nigeria. It's just here in the battle you can see between Amadi and Kone, and it was the Nigerian who was called for the foul. So a score, and then they get possession as well.
And that play started with Kone here on defense, locking up the point guard on the penetration, making him kick out a pass to a turnover.
Well, another score here would be a big little momentum shift for, if you can have a big little. But it would certainly be a big momentum shift if Diabate can hit this three. Rims in and out. Bamba trying to get the offensive rebound, but he's beaten to it. Oh, beautiful step and finish. I think they were concerned with Eric on the alley-oop.
Absolutely. Good finish there by Namdi.
Thompson moves it on. Around it comes to Diabate. Driving in, he's able to get his balance and take the shot, but it doesn't drop.
Good defense by Nigeria there. Triple switch to make sure Abu didn't get the shot off.
Mino comes back with the spin. Gets his own rebound. Oh, nice pass to Eric. He's overcooked that. And no way through. But I think Thompson it is on the far side, call for the foul. So there'll be 2 free throws here for Nigeria.
And Namdi went in there looking for contact, inviting it. Namdi giving him a little spark off the bench there. Made a great step through fake basket there on the layup. And now here gets to the middle and is drawing contact. Was involved with the foul down at the other end.
First one is good. Played in the G League last year. Averaged just under 9 points a game. Haven't been to the University of Californian Santa Barbara.
A Gocho.
Bamba. Bamba sees the lane, drops it off to Kone. They recovered well defensively there, Nigeria, because they looked like they'd given him an easy score at first.
Yeah.
Traveling violation.
He saw the lane, and then he saw Michael Eric.
Yeah.
And great rotation from Michael Eric. Those 2 big blocks in the first half, and now when he's on the floor, Côte d'Ivoire knows where he is.
Number 13, out. Number 11, in.
Bamba comes and gets the ball. He's under a bit of pressure at the half court, but Fofana now moving it on to Diabate. Fofana trying that skip pass, couldn't get it over Okoye, so it'll be an end-line ball with 6 seconds on the shot clock.
And Nigeria built their defense on that because Fofana never looked to shoot the basketball, and they treated him as strictly a passer.
It's got to go up here. Diabate running out of time. The shot gets off just before the shot clock buzzer, but Okoye with the rebound. Nigeria looking to build here.
Good solid defensive possession.
Double comes quickly to chase Matthew away from the low post. But they didn't ever fully recover. And good ball movement finds the 3 in the corner from Nandi.
Yeah, good job by Matu finally getting that ball out of that double team and the reversal for the open shot on that.
Bamba. Foul off the ball. Fofana's getting called for it.
And Namdi right in the middle of it. Nice full rotation there, out of the double team, full reversal, closeouts come, one more pass. Easiest 3 on the floor.
Well, 13 minutes to go. Nigeria with a 15-point lead. Remember, they came into this classification round with the best record of any of the African teams, and they're looking to stretch it. Pamba.
Irogbo there telegraphed his pass, and the defense read it.
Fofana moves it on. Diabate sells the fake and makes the 3.
Diabate's their one guy with instant offense. Fofana's got to step into his range and be a little bit more comfortable. They were fortunate there, the fact that they laid off him and they were still able to get the open 3.
Okoye to reply with 3 of his own.
Second one of the night for him. Off a little ball movement, short corner, right back out to the shooter.
Pamba going to work in the lane. Diabate driving in. Bamba touches it onto Thompson. Diabate trying to feed it into Thompson. It's a tough pass. Nigeria collapsing on it well. And a chance in transition maybe. Pushing hard. Okoye in the corner. He drives into basket and he's fouled by Diabate. He passed the ball off, so I don't think it'll be shots.
Coach Povia there on that
In fact, it will be shots because they're over the limit.
Coach Povia on that last possession just loved their ball movement, and then all of a sudden it got to the top and it stopped. And everything that you just created now has to restart. They were so close in that last possession to having a great offensive set.
16 now the advantage for Nigeria. Fofana. Pamba, a little fall away.
Much better defense by Nigeria. Not giving up any easy baskets, good solid possessions.
Fofana called for the push on the floor.
Number 11, holding foul.
When I talk about Nigeria's defense there and their solid possessions, they're now forcing Cote d'Ivoire to settle a little bit on tough shots because of the clock situation. Good defense for almost the length of the clock, forcing Cote d'Ivoire to take tough shots.
Well, 23 points here in the third quarter. They had 24 in the first. Those are the two difference-making quarters. This one they're winning by 12. Make that 13 because they've only given up 11 at the other end, and that's why their lead is 17 with 50 seconds to go here in this third period.
And they've got to the free throw line 9 times this half.
It's been a lot more of this, hasn't it? Oh my goodness! Metu went up to try and put the big dunk on. But he was met at the rim. And a great block, actually.
And it looked like there was a tip there, because I know the rim, it wasn't just the rim that blocked him.
Offensive foul on Fofana. I think he was just spinning out of that screen a little too quick.
Yeah, just the mistake of not completing that screen, just rushing to get out of there.
Well, Thompson was running towards the bench, but he was sent back. It's for Fofana, who comes out of the action, having picked up his third foul.
Now check where Okoye is right now. He made a mistake on that inbounds play. First thing he's got to do is step back and give himself a little bit of room. In this case, Pamba's not on him, but last time Pamba was right up to him and touched the ball.
6 or 7 seconds between shot and game clock, so Cote d'Ivoire should get one back. They definitely will as Okogie gets in there, although he gets his own offensive rebound. Over to Eric, driving to the runner. Metu can't quite get to it. 7 seconds. Cote d'Ivoire have to go quick here. It's deflected. He's got to heave it here from the corner, Pamba. That's after the buzzer, so won't count. Great third quarter for Nigeria. They've put 24 on the board in that 10 minutes. They've given up only 11 at the other end. And that is why, through 3 quarters, it's Nigeria 63, Cote d'Ivoire 46.
That's everything Coach Nwora was talking about at halftime. Urgency, defense, play off of our defense. You even found Josh Okogie, who's not shooting the ball real well, is creating assists and finding different ways. So play to your strength, play to win. Great third quarter by Nigeria. Cote d'Ivoire's got their work cut out for them to come back.
Well, as things stand here, and there's still a lot of basketball to be played over the next few days, but Nigeria will be strengthening their bid for this Olympic game qualifying spot. They were one of 3 teams to come in from the African continent with a victory. Tunisia and Angola were the other 2. So Nigeria looking to put their second win on the board. Angola in the third quarter are currently losing to Iran. So that could take them almost out of contention for the direct spot. Tunisia, of course, who were here in Guangzhou, still have an opportunity. Their game is later today.
And with point difference being such a big concern here, no matter what Nigeria does, what the score is, Coach Nawarro is going to constantly remind them of that. We everything we win by, or if we get a chance to win, we've got to keep playing because of this point differential factor that we've got to make sure that we take care of now.
Well, they were plus 24. Tunisia were minus 30 as the nearest team with a win to them. So they're already 54 up coming in. There's another 17 to add here if they can carry on in this vein. Kone backing down. It felt like he just needed to spin the other way. He might have had a layup.
Absolutely. He made the defender move. All he needed was that counter move on that, but he was pretty determined. He was going over that left shoulder.
Diabate at the elbow, onto Pamba for three. Much needed points for Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah, and Irogbo there made a slight error, but not closing out completely on Pamba.
Metu trying to get past Kone, does get past him. Behind the back pass to Eric, who drops it in for two.
Man, that's a highlight because we were expecting him to fly. Shows he can pass the ball too. Great job by Metu.
Diabate in the corner for three, he knocks it down.
Two open back-to-back threes.
Here's Eric driving to the basket, lays it in, draws the foul. Bonus free throw to come. Well, Côte d'Ivoire getting long-range threes at one end, and Nigeria getting them the old-fashioned way at the other. That's the beautiful pass.
That was a great pass. That's by somebody who knows how to spend time in the air. Metu is just a sensational athlete. We saw that attempted dunk earlier.
Pamba, it's 5-on-4 here. Zakogi's a bit slow because he got a whack in the face. He's not too slow going the other way now. Drops it back to Eric, flushes it down.
Good drive and seal by Okogie there.
And the lead is once more 17. Just when it looked like they had some momentum. Fofana. Oh, up in the air. Good head fake. Deji will go to the free throw line. Sorry. Here's another look. Again, as you say, took the defender out of the equation.
Yeah, that's a great 2-on-1. Make the defender play you. In this case, take the defender completely out of the play and then drop it back for the runner.
FIBAWC on the foul line for the first time in this FIBA Basketball World Cup.
It looked like Namdi bought himself some more time this half. And with that great start of this third quarter, I mean, his first substitution came in that third quarter, and now right back in the game.
Whoa. They managed to, thanks to a good dive there from Hirogi, keep that. Oh! Well, somebody's going to get on a poster at some point today. Diabate to Pamba. Kone to the hook. Off the mark. Robo pulls up from the free throw line. Pamba with the rebound. Jay with the one-handed jab.
Yeah, it was nice that Fofana actually saw that. First look by the point guard, didn't see the big down there. It gets back to Fofana. Big man still doing his work. And Jay comes in the game here and is giving him a little bit of life.
Andy Vincent. Gets it back on the handoff. Takes the three. Back iron. Netty with the rebound. Skipped out to Okoye. Okoye looking to go to work. Crossover, spin, under pressure. Doesn't quite get the roll.
There's a battle inside.
There was for that rebound. Well, before it even got there, Diabate had it knocked away. Illegally so. And Okoye called for the foul.
Nigeria is the average one.
Well, 7 minutes left here for Côte d'Ivoire to try and find some way of getting one last big run at this. Otherwise, the best they can hope for is a qualifying tournament spot, and even that doesn't look tremendously likely if they lose this. Jay with the mid-range jumper.
Good job by Jay there. He's been a very good substitution in this fourth quarter.
Koye lets fire for three. And the lead back out to 15.
He's been deadly outside.
Diabate throws it down to the low post. Jay moves it on. Kone, back iron.
And now Nigeria wants to slow the pace down. They don't want to have any rush possessions.
Bounced in and it's gone down hard there. Foul is on Kone. Just checking whether it was too hard, but referee just calls it a regular foul.
And you can tell Kone's a little tired on that because he gave up that possession way too early, way too easy to Zana. It was just a good body position by Zana, giving himself an easy basket. These are the easy baskets that Nigeria didn't get in the first half that they're getting in the second half.
Zana unable to stretch the lead here. Missed them both, but it comes all the way back to him. Rather fortuitous deflection. Andy, another 3-point attempt. Udo with the offensive board.
A good decision there by Koye to get that ball back out.
Uzo drives in. Shot clock at 3. It needs to go up here. He doesn't see it, I don't think. Oh, he does! And he makes it on the shot clock buzzer.
And the assist goes to the bench for reminding him what's on the clock.
Pamba. Kone. Top of the key. Zana with the rebound.
And I'm sure Côte d'Ivoire wants a little bit more than their best big man away from the basket taking the shot.
Well, Nigeria, with 5 minutes to play, in no rush here, clock very much on their side with this big lead. Zana, top of the key, front rims that one. Almost another offensive rebound there, but Côte d'Ivoire do secure possession. Pamba. Eddie driving hard under. Oh, get that out of here. Tries again at the second attempt. It's stolen away. He's hurt himself as well, Eddie. Holding his fingers. Uzo drives through off the glass.
And it looked like Côte d'Ivoire was actually trying to foul to slow that position down.
Well, Eddie still looks in some discomfort on the far side. I don't know if he can catch the ball. He's grabbing his fingers. He might be playing this offense with 4. Kone takes it top of the key.
Look for a foul here. Nope.
The referee calls it to a halt as Eddie says, I can't carry on with this hand. And that's straight to the bench.
That's got a dislocation written all over.
Well, that was my worry at first, the way he was holding his hand as to whether he had dislocated it. It's one of those things I'd probably rather not see, just in case.
But we can all feel it.
Yeah. Thompson with the rebound.
Any possession that takes 20 seconds for Nigeria is a good possession.
Kone, top of the key once again with the jumper. Still 16 between them.
He must have heard me because he's knocked down the last 2.
Offensive foul, the call. So he was trying to establish some position inside Diogo, fighting.
When you're as big as he is, you don't have to be over-aggressive because your size is going to take over.
Nice little head fake. Thompson, some space on the three-point line, knocks it down, and that's going to force a timeout to be called here with 3:03 to go. Nigeria will call a halt to proceedings. They still lead by 13, though.
Leading by 13, and that was one of their first big mistakes they've made that entire second half. Just on the closeout, got caught a little rubbernecking where you lose the side of the ball. Coach is going to talk to him about, got to be positive here. Even coming off the court, Nigeria's body language wasn't great.
Let's finish off strong. All the points we're giving up is going to count against us. The more points we beat them by, it's going to help us. So why would you not be points easily like that? And then we go down there, we don't get a shot. One and done, nobody's rebounding. All of a sudden we put it. What got us to this point, guys? Take our time. Take our time, obviously. Take our time.
And therein is the difference between players and coaches. Coaches think all the time about the bigger picture, how this impacts on the next game and the qualification and all of that. And players live in the moment of the game. And he's saying to them, come on now, 13 is good, but 18 would be better. Let's push it, keep pushing.
And that's exactly right. Players are in the moment of the game, and the coaches are constantly reminding them about the big picture. Good timeout, good message sent. Everybody understands why he's upset or frustrated with it.
Now, they do have a little flex because, as I say, they came in with by far the best basket difference. Udo under pressure will shoot 2. So, you know, it isn't the end of the world if they only win by 13. 13 is a very nice number. But as I say, 18 would be better.
I guess Nigeria just hasn't had enough wins at the World Cup like many countries. And so you got to make sure that you don't allow your team to slip. And I think that's really what he did there. No slippage, gentlemen. Let's get ourselves regrouped. Let's go back to our goal. Let's win this game. Let's get a few more points on the board. Let's stop them from scoring.
Well, they won 2 games in 98 and 2 games in 2006. This would be their second one here in 2019. Because Côte d'Ivoire have the lowest win percentage of any team with 10 or more games in the competition. They've only won 1. Kone, mid-range. He suddenly found his touch, and you said that, Coach. And you can see on the bench, it may well be a dislocation because they're still working on it now.
But the good thing about Kone shooting for Nigeria is, well, you don't want him to make it, but if he misses, then you've got a better chance at the rebound.
Diogo for 3. Pamba with the rebound.
Abu's a little frustrated. He hasn't had a touch.
Kone now down on the baseline with the turnaround. Amino bumped by Kone.
As much as Kone's been shooting the ball well, those are still twos. You got a shooter like Abu open early in transition, he's got to get the touch. If he doesn't shoot it, that's fine. But instead of pounding the ball up the court, they've got to move the ball up the court. You can't lose those opportunities.
Some debate as to the number of fouls, whether that was the 4th or the 5th in this quarter. I think it originally went on the scoreboard as the 5th, and it's since been corrected to the 4th, so it is a sideline possession. Diogo. Udo with the handover. Okoji back into Udo, going to work. Nice footwork to give himself a good shot.
Sensational seal. Big man stayed really low and wide, and Okogie did a great job of waiting for him and finding him.
Abu penetrates in, dumps off to Thompson for Fana. Kone. Fana. Ball goes around the three-point line. Just towed the line on that. It fell a long way short anyway. Minute to go. Minute and some change. Nigeria on their way to a second victory, trying to make sure it's as big a margin as they possibly can get. Well, they turned it over that time. It's Fofana in transition. He's never quite had the ball. And in the end, he commits the foul, and that's going to give him 2 shots.
And Diogo is working real hard to get himself going. He wanted that last possession. He wanted to get back up on the scoreboard. He worked hard in there. And last couple possessions, when he's got it inside, he's looking to finish.
And Fofana fouling out of the game on that play. Wow. Farouk Aminu, 13 points now, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, couple of steals. Efficiency rating in the 20s. He's had himself a nice ball game here.
We talked about big picture earlier. Coach Pavia there has got Kulabay and CA on the floor for the first time in this tournament. He knows the game's over, but he's giving some guys an opportunity to get out there and play.
Well, 2 more offenses you feel left in this game. Nigeria going to run this one down, you would imagine. Diogo going to work, spinning. Kept alive. And another 2 for Nigeria to stretch this lead.
And the reason Nigeria scored there was because of the point difference situation. Otherwise, in that case, they would have just probably brought it out.
Sia with shot clock switched off, calling for the screen. Can they get one last score? No, they can't. And that will do it. And Nigeria move a step closer to Olympic qualification. They've come up with a big win against their African rivals. It's finished here in the first game in Group M in Guangzhou. Nigeria 83, Cote d'Ivoire 66.
That's a talented team to win by 17 after not having a great half. This team's loaded with talent. And the key part for them, I thought, was coming back out, playing with some urgency. Next game, they could be playing in a facility that's jam-packed with people. But if they're looking to come out of this Group M with 2 wins, they're going to have to play a full basketball game against China on their next game.
And obviously, defeat for Côte d'Ivoire means they can't get that direct spot to the Olympic Games. There's still a chance, I think, at the qualifying tournament, but that's a long shot now for them. 2 days from now, for them, it will be about let's get one win on the board and go out of this competition. Whatever happens with a win on the board, only a second ever win at a FIBA Basketball World Cup.
The great thing about this tournament is these classification games are more than classification games. There are games within the games. There are rewards for how you play. And that's every game counts on this in this tournament. So you can never, ever let yourself down. You might say they're 0-4 for the tournament. What are they playing for? There's something out there. If they get a chance to get one win and a bunch of things happen, it might be enough.
Well, Nigeria really got off to that flying start. First 3 or 4 minutes, built up a nice little lead. Shooting numbers they've led throughout, and they had a bit of a spell, but you can see points in the paint, rebounds, the size and strength of Nigeria, too much really, too strong, and they were able to get themselves a win, and good spread of offense as well.
Yeah, this is an incredibly talented Nigeria team, and the fact that they haven't been together as a group long enough. I saw them their first pre-tournament game in Toronto play, and I just love their attitude, and I love the way they played, and I expect them to grow immensely. The one area that they end up having is a little bit of lulls in the way they play sometimes, and if this team just goes all out, just like that pass, then you're going to find a team that's going to be reckoned with before this is over.
And of course, the interesting thing is that last game on the horizon could be a massive game for both the teams there.
Yeah, so we look at a tournament in a tournament. Could you imagine having a game that will send you to the Olympics? It has nothing to do about classification. Nobody will remember what spot you ended up, but they'll remember the fact that that game was the game that you had a chance to go to the Olympics with.
And Côte d'Ivoire just didn't have enough consistency at this end of the floor. They couldn't keep the scoreboard ticking regularly enough. 66 doesn't win you too many ball games.
And Nigeria's defense. When we started this game, we talked about how much of a factor Charles Abu was going to be. Nigeria did a great job of never losing him, not giving him an open look. So sometimes when you don't shoot the ball real well or don't play as well as you think, the defense has something to do with it.
So Nigeria, with that second win of the competition, really put themselves in a great spot to claim that African berth. They might not even need to win that last game. Of course, they will go in trying to win it because you can't take that risk. But Angola are currently losing with 5 minutes to go in Group N against Iran. Serbia up big on Puerto Rico in the second round game, and Poland ahead of Russia. What a tournament the Poles are having in their second round game. But in terms of the classification, it's very good chance now for Nigeria. They top this group with 2 wins and 2 defeats. China taking on Korea in, what is that, 2 hours and about 20 minutes time, in what promises to be a tremendous game and a tremendous atmosphere.
And there's a Tunisia team out there that's saying, that are looking ahead thinking, we're looking to win 2 games. In Nigeria, if you sit back and you don't think that you need 2 wins, think again.
Well, that'll do it here in Guangzhou. For Coach Joe, I'm Daniel. Goodbye.
Safely as possible, enabling us to prepare the venue for our next game. Have a safe journey home. 全场比赛已经结束，请现场的观众朋友们有序离场。 以免影响下一场比赛的准备。祝大家回程一路平安。